Hey, how's it going? So today, I figured I'd start talking a little bit about getting started commuting. Some of the things you might want to consider if you're gonna get a bike and try to commute. Like, the basics. So of course, the primary thing you're gonna need is a bicycle. And some people, when they get their first bike, they kind of go cheap. So they don't want to spend more than maybe $150. And that's a good thing, because you might decide after trying it once or twice you don't like it. However, it's a bad thing if you decide you do like it. Reason is, most bikes that are going to set you back $100 to $150 if they're new are going to come from like Walmart or some other big box store like that, and there's not going to be very much quality built into the bike. And when I say quality, I mean the first few, maybe weeks you ride it, it'll be fine. But pretty quickly, some of the more important parts of the bike will start to break down, and you'll be stuck either buying parts or buying a whole nother bike. Now, what I would suggest is to look at either local classifieds, or if you live in a major city, you might even have what's called a cooperative, a bicycle co-op, or collective. And what they'll do is they take in donated bikes and bikes from like police turn-ins, and they'll fix them up and then they'll sell them back, and that helps to pay their bills and helps their non-profit continue. And I know all about them because I happen to volunteer for one, so I see the types of bikes that we get in. And in general, most cooperatives are only going to spend time fixing up a bike that's worth selling. So they usually won't waste their time fixing up a bike that's not got good quality parts on it, because in the long run they're going to spend more time fixing it than they can sell it for. Okay, so some of the things you want to look for: a bike that doesn't have suspension, front or rear. You want a nice solid frame. I think that mountain bikes from the big name manufacturers, Giant, Trek, Specialized, even Fuji and Rally, from this time frame are going to be your best bets. One, they're built really well, but two, they're all going to be pretty cheap. For instance, what I'm riding right now is a 1997 Giant Iguana, and this bike is solid. It's not the lightest, and not the prettiest, certainly not the fastest, but it's built well. and it's going to last and be relatively easy to maintain. My cost on this, when I bought it, was $100. And for that $100, I rode it for probably 4 months before I did anything to it. And the only things I did to it, I started doing not out of necessity, but just out of convenience. Now, if you want to spend a little more money in like the $300 to $500 range, now you're looking at a more modern bike that's got maybe better weight, but as far as components go, the components might actually not be as good. The reason being that a lot of the older mountain bikes that are going to be available on the market will probably come standard with upper end components. Because again, those components have lasted for the last 20 years. And again, you're not looking to win the Tour de France on this thing. You're looking to have a good, cheap, reliable mode of transportation. And that's what a bike like this gets you. Now, the second big thing is actually commuting. For me, I live close enough that my whole commute is pretty easy. But some people, they have a little farther drive, and so mentally they convince themselves they can't do it just because of how far it is. One trick that I've learned is that you can always take the bike halfway or closer to your end destination and start off commuting just a couple miles, maybe parking at a shopping center or a grocery store that's near your place of work, and then riding to and fro, and then finishing your commute in your car. Again, this is just to build up the stamina to do your commute and to get you more apt at riding. Pretty soon, after you've built up some stamina, you'll start parking farther and farther away. You might even consider doing your entire commute by bike in just a short while. But the first key to succeeding at anything is starting small and just doing it. Because if you don't start small, you might not start at all. So, the main takeaway points are don't invest in a brand new bike that's cheap. On your left, so the main takeaway point: don't invest in a new cheap bike. Find something older and solid that's still in your budget, and then commit to the commute. Start small and work your way up. Build up your endurance and your strength, and before you know it, you'll be commuting every day. Alright guys, that's the end of this one. Talk to you later.